Greetings, everyone. Welcome from the homestead in Boulder. Beautiful, beautiful day. Got the goats out there grazing around, doing their thing. And I wanted to talk about something that seemingly has nothing to do with homesteading, but AI. And of course, everyone's talking about it right now. So many people are. And, I wanted to bring a perspective that's, I'd say, rather different than anything anybody else is talking about. But I think when you understand it, it kind of blows open the whole thing. So many people are talking about how AI is going to change the world, and it's either seems to be like doom and gloom, or for positive. Either they're saying it's going to take over and destroy humans, and deem us worthless, and this and that, or it's going to change everything for the better. It's going to make us more efficient, more productive, help with all the things we don't want to do, and da da da. So I'm not really here to comment on that, because whatever you think is what you think. But I want to explain a concept around AI and change that will break open some interesting things in life. And if you understand this, it just helps you understand most things and how life works. So what people tend to look at with artificial intelligence, and we'll take something like ChatGPT, it's this system where you can type in anything, you can ask it any question, you can ask it to generate images, it can give you complicated math and scientific formulas, it can pull up information from anywhere. It's like talking to an intelligent thing that has access to basically everything that's ever been on the internet. So all the information it can pull from, and of course it gets things wrong, and it's the age-old debate of what is right and wrong, and what is information and what's misinformation, da 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 da. But what people aren't really focusing on when they talk about how it's going to change the world and how it's already revolutionized the world is that change is this thing that's always happening, right? Change is constantly happening no matter what. We're never in a constant state. We're always in the state of change. Our emotions, our ideas, our feelings, our thoughts, our experiences are always going through these different changes. And I think what people don't realize about technology sometimes is that, so when you buy a phone, I mean, you can see it with the phone if you really step back and look at it. Every time Apple comes out with a new ad, it's like, the new iPhone. This is the best iPhone ever. It's the iPhone 16 Pro Max, generational, magical, and whatever thing. It's twice as fast. It's twice as much battery life. The optics are this and that. And I kind of jokingly say, for once, I'd love to see a company be like, the phone we made last year was great. We're just going to give you guys the same phone. We're just going to keep that phone going. Or, last year's phone was great and super fast. This one isn't any faster. We just thought we did a good job. Same thing with cars. It's like cars every single year, they change. If you look at any car, 2020, 2021, every year they make the slightest shifts. Of course, sometimes they'll do these big remodels and change everything, but for the most part, it's like, oh, the headlights have a slight difference, and we upgraded this feature. You can see car commercials. They're not even really talking about the car anymore and the performance of it. It's like, oh, it's about the technology. Like, oh, this has got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and satellite radio and heated comfort vibrating seats, and because in life we're in this matrix world that most of us are living in. Even if we've done what we can to step out of it, there's marketing happening everywhere, and it's business, and people got to make money, and they have to create the illusion that things are changing and getting better so that we buy the next thing. And I love 1984 for so many reasons. It's one of my favorite books. It's a very scary book, and it's very holy Jesus, but something I love about it is he shows, George Orwell shows to such an extent what it's like to live in this futuristic society where the government is making us believe that things are always getting better. Even if the chocolate ration goes down, from 2 pounds to 1 pound, let's say, the government's promoting wow, we have 1 pound of chocolate now, and convincing everybody that things are always getting better. So to bring this back to AI, I think people think that the technology is going to help, and listen, I've used it for stuff, and I've seen some benefits. But if you remember when that app came out where everybody was uploading pictures, you could upload pictures of yourself, and then it would make you all these cool AI generated images. And for a few weeks, everybody was posting and all about it, and then it was gone. And then another thing came out, and everyone was talking about it and using it, and then it was gone. And ChatGPT right now, everybody's talking about it and using it, and something will probably replace it. Or every few months there's a new, they just released the newest update, ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever. So not to say there's anything wrong with progress for the sake of progress, but the issue I think with artificial intelligence and anything in the technological world is it's going to convince us that it's always getting better. So we think it's like, oh, our lives are getting better, but we're just going to have to keep buying into these new systems. There's always going to be a new company, a new competitor, a new person trying to, get us to buy this version or get the upgraded version, or now there's the max version or the professional version. And we as humans get so stuck on the hamster wheel of trying to keep up, trying to learn these new things. I noticed this with Apple a lot. My computer, it does these automatic updates, and sometimes there are little things you don't notice, and then every few years they update the operating system, and then I have to learn all this new stuff. I'm like, where did my folders go? Where did this go? And if you aren't willing to be in that kind of game and that race, you can feel like you're falling behind. So I think what's going to happen in AI is people are going to be convinced that their lives are getting better, or that they're becoming more efficient, or that they're learning this more, whatever. Even if you're genuine and you're like, oh, I've got heart-centered technology and I want to put it out to the world, and this is helping me build that and connect people. Well, it's going to seem like that's what you're doing, but then the technology is going to change, and then you're going to have to move your platform over, or you're going to have to learn this new thing. So while you think you're building this whole business out, the faster things change. It's not just like we're going to get to some place where all of a sudden, okay, we've got the official artificial intelligence, and now we just have our buddy, hanging out with us all the time that's in control of everything. And I walk up to the stove and say, hey, Gemini or whatever, turn the stove on and simmer these eggs for me or whatever. Those will be things, but it's not like there's ever going to be a place where it just ends and then we have the perfect artificial intelligence that's helping us with all this stuff in our life and we're just good to go. No, there's always going to be a new one we're going to have to buy into, and a new one and a new one. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't see people talking about that concept. They're talking about how AI is going to change as though it's this one thing that's just going to keep growing, getting better and better and better, and we're going to get to this place where it's just going to be so great and helping us in so many ways. And I think that's the illusion that they want us to create. So they want us to see. And I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, or I'm not a conspiracy person who's like, oh, this person's in control and that. I just think it's the nature of human reality to want to progress and go forward and try to make this one better than the last one, because if it doesn't seem better than the last one, then, why are we going to buy it? That's why I love buying mostly used stuff and recycling things, repurposing things. I find that older technology tends to work better. Older things, I just trust more. I have trouble buying new things. I buy a phone and a computer every however many years, and whatever, I make videos on social media, and it's just kind of the system that I'm I guess caught in. But for the most part, I try to buy things used or things that people are giving away. So why am I bringing this stuff up? What does that have to do with anything? Well, to me, there are things in life that are tried and true, that have been tested for a long time. And while I'm not against, I love innovation. I'm always trying to be creative. And if somebody says this is the way to do it, and they've been doing it for thousands of years, I might listen. But if something seems different and more obvious to me, I'm going to go for it. And that's why I love gardening and growing food and raising animals and being more connected to nature, because there's this intuitive sense of knowing. There's a lot of information out there that you can learn, and there's also this, no matter what other people tell you, no matter what AI says, I can take a picture of my garden bed and say, hey, tell me what to do. Even if I were to do that, which I have no desire to, I still have to be the one putting my hands in the soil. So there's something really special that's hard to explain until you do it. Getting your hands. I mean, my hands, these are working hands. They're beat up. They've gone through some stuff. God, if you only saw my feet. Woo! But there's a specialness. There's something magical about being out in nature, putting your hands in the soil and the dirt, experiencing even hardships and things you have to struggle through and learn from. Even if it seems like all the information's out there, we're all in such unique situations and environments. Climates are different. So when I'm scrolling through, Instagram, and I see someone like, oh, this is the best way to grow potatoes. Maybe for that person, what climate are you living in? What kind of potato? There's so many nuances and factors, and that's the beauty of life. That's the creativity of being in it and having to listen and learn and observe and understand what's going on. And no matter what kind of technology is changing or trying to make it seem like our life is going to be easier or better, more efficient, I'm not saying it won't and that these things won't help. I mean, technology has quote unquote helped people for a long time, but that's really the illusion of, oh, it's helping, it's making things better, when in fact, the end of the day, there's still a human and there's still a being that's connected to everything. And when we see our place in all of it, and we start to really tune in and drop into what is, well, life makes a lot more sense. That's why I teach homesteading classes. That's why we do retreats, to bring people into our world, to say like, hey, we're not saying this is the only right way to live life, but this is something that makes sense to us. And if you're looking to live more connected, more peaceful, more present life, this is one way to do that. There's a million different things you can do. I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. Right and wrong is the illusion. But rather, to destroy the false ideas and these marketed, conditioned beliefs in our mind, so that we can actually start to listen what's there, what wants to be there, what wants to grow, what wants to exist in a space. And over time, things just make more and more sense. And that's all I have to say about that.